emotional 4th of July for one woman this week. The mother of a Marine killed in Vietnam receives his dog tags in a ceremony after two men found them for sale. Joining us now is Ruth Decker, who received those tags. Alongside Ruth, her son Dennis Decker. Also with us are Jim Gain and Rob Stiff. They are the two men who found the tags in Vietnam and brought them home. So, Ruth, if you'll hang on just a second, I want to find out from Jim and Rob how they came across these dog tags. Jim, can you tell us what happened?
Yes, I can. We were walking through a market in Saigon, and we were shopping for the normal thing, you know, clothing and other little items to take back home. When, as we were exiting the market, we were approached by a vendor that had some dog tags. And we stopped briefly, and we asked him if they were real, and he said they were. But the sight of the dog tags was very disturbing to us, so we, at that time, left and felt very queasy about it.
But you later went back and what, bought them all?
We went back. We felt, again, we felt very bad after leaving the market that we didn't buy them. But by the time we found out or decided that we should have bought them, we had already left the country. So we planned for 4 months to return and to purchase the dog tags.
And the idea was to return those dog tags to the relatives of those men.
Oh, most definitely. That was the sole purpose.
Let me talk to Ruth now, and Ruth and her son Dennis. Ruth, your son who was killed in Vietnam, his name, and do you have any idea where that action happened in which he was killed?
You know, I think my son Dennis can probably explain that better than I can.
All right, well, let me just ask you this. I'll go to Dennis in a second. What did it mean to you to get these dog tags back?
Well, it's just unbelievable, and I'm just thrilled, really and truly. I have to say that I hadn't really thought about Alan's dog tags. I have many things in a special room in the home. You know, it's my guest room, and I'm so proud to show my son's pictures. My husband was in the Navy, and I have had the other two sons beside Alan that were in the service, and but I never thought about the dog tags. So when one of the gentlemen called me, Rob, and told me that he had Alan's dog tag, well, I just was shocked, and I said, I wonder where the other one is. And so after we hung up, I went and looked in my husband's little treasure box and to see what his dog tags were like, and there were my husband's 2 dog tags from the Navy, and Alan's was there also, 1 dog tag from Alan. So I was just thrilled, and I couldn't wait till Rob would call me back so I could tell him. And so then we compared them, and everything was the same. Okay,
Dennis, hang on just a second. Rob Stiff, let me ask you, this business of recovering the dog tags, I mean, I guess it came over you once you'd seen them that you ought to go get them and get them back to the people like Mrs. Decker. Why?
Well, all I know I can say is this. If I knew I had a loved one that went over there and fought in a war, fought for this country, and their dog tag was out there, I'd want it back.
Well, sure, but I mean, how did you know, seeing this stuff in the market, that it was even real?
Well, one of the things is that we went to an area where locals shop, not really where you'd find tourists. We were walking by fans, sink parts, and household components, and in the back where there were dresses and other clothing items, there was war paraphernalia, and there on the pile was dog tags, as well as the men trying to sell them on a string.
Dennis Decker, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your brother and where this was that he lost his life in Vietnam.
From what I recall, and actually I picked up more of it yesterday morning when I was on the plane coming to Chicago, but it was, I believe, in Quang Nang province where he was killed. But he was on patrol, and of course that was 30 years ago. I was 17 at the time. So.
How old was your brother when he was killed?
He was 19.
19. And what do you remember of him, Dennis?
Well, of course we were normal kids growing up. Al was 2 years older than I was, so throughout the high school years, I was his kid brother, so we didn't associate a whole lot. I mean, he did his deal and I did my deal, but immediately out of high school he joined the Marines, and that was really kind of the guy he was. if he was going to do something, he was going to do it all the way. So he felt that the Marines were his calling. And I mean, from that standpoint, we're very proud of him because he had a purpose for his life. He felt that his purpose was to serve for his country.
All right. Dennis and Ruth Decker, thanks very much. Mrs. Decker, congratulations on getting this dog tag back. And Jim Gain and Rob Stiff, good work, and thanks to both you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
Well, thank you all very much also.
Thank you very much.
All right.
2 men